Well, welcome everyone. We are in week 18 here of reading through the Bible in 6 months. We're getting close. We're getting close. Hang in there still. In the Old Testament section, we're in what's called in the midst of what's called the wisdom literature. It's just good stuff that seems to apply to everyday life. The Psalms you've been working through, and the beautiful poetry telling of the story. You could just imagine some of these things being sung, talking about praise and thanksgiving and challenges and the God's preference for the nation of Israel, all of those things. So as we've gone through those Psalms, you've seen a lot of the songs that probably you may have even noticed a few from camp and some of the hymns that we have. Then we get started here in Proverbs. And as you go through Proverbs, keep in mind this is Solomon, the son of David, writing probably to a son, or like a father writing a letter to his children, offering them good advice. And we get that image of wisdom being a woman. Wisdom, Sophia, is depicted as a woman. And then, of course, foolishness is also depicted as a woman. So this idea of be careful which woman you hang out with. Make sure that you pick the right woman. And we'll probably see that a little bit then. Next week, you'll be getting into Ecclesiastes, which is Solomon as an old man reflecting back on his life and noting that all of this wonder and wealth was foolishness, vanity, that it's his relationship with God and other people that is most important. And then you'll just be getting into Song of Songs, which is again, Solomon writing Solomon's love poems, so have fun with those. This week we kind of continued in the first letter to the Corinthians, and you may not have thought of Paul as being this firm of a pastoral writer, that he's very concerned about these people and that they have strayed away from the path he taught, and he's trying to get them back on that right path in spite of false teachers and all of these this idea of using their newfound freedom for themselves, but yet reminding them to use it for themselves, for others, pardon me. And especially as, like I said, as you got to verse 12, or chapter 12, that when you see therefore, however, that's where Paul turns his thinking and his teaching. He turns to being a teacher, and instead of a preacher, a scolder. But there's just some stuff he's very concerned about, and he does it in a way that some depicted as being very threatening, and we're very much offended by it. So when you get into 2 Corinthians here now, starting this week, you start to see maybe a little bit more of Paul reflecting back on that previous letter. Actually, there's probably one other letter in between here, but you kind of see the benefit of, he's debating about this benefit of writing to kind of ask for forgiveness or to set the stage, versus his presence there being, if he was there, it would just bring up old hurts. So he's just wrestling with that as to whether he should come in person. But if he is, he's going to prepare the way with this new letter. So as you go through 2 Corinthians this week, keep that in mind, that there's another letter there. We don't know what, we get some idea probably of what it said, but Paul is trying to reconcile himself to this, and he uses a lot of that reconciliation language. And you might just get into Galatians, which is a wonderful letter of Paul's, more of one of his happy letters to a group that's doing really good ministry, and he wants to commend them for that and reinforce it. So just keep up the good work. Enjoy the wisdom and poetry of the Old Testament, and enjoy the insights and on relationships of Paul in the New Testament. Looking forward to talking with you next week more. God bless.